The thick cream envelope with gold embossing arrived once more on my birthday, a chilling reminder of my parents' 50th wedding anniversary celebration. As I turned the envelope over in my hands, my house was silent, save for the gentle purring of my cat on the windowsill. My name is Gabriella, and for 30 years I've witnessed my family celebrate all except me. Paisley, my daughter, stormed in unexpectedly. Mom, I'm so sorry, I forgot. She dropped her bag and hugged me, her long dark hair brushing against my face. It's okay, sweetheart, I reassured, though both of us knew it wasn't. You're here now. Noticing the envelope in my hands, her brow furrowed. Is that the anniversary invitation? Why send it today? I nodded, forcing a smile. They want you to speak again, don't they? Even though they've ignored your birthday for how many years now? She counted aloud. Is it 28 now? I attempt to laugh failed, with my voice cracking under the strain. The phone startled us by ringing, display my mother's name, Prudence. Discussing the anniversary? Paisley's tone was bitter. I nodded, letting it ring. Paisley muttered, remember last year's fiasco with Uncle Tree's wife Vanessa, wanting to sing to you? And Grandma shut it down immediately. I remembered all too well. Mere moments after the call stopped, another began. Marlowe, my sister, likely coordinating as usual from her posh London apartment. You know, Paisley insisted, grabbing my hand. Let's go out and celebrate you for once. Interrupted by a text from Trey, my brother, about an important anniversary planning meeting. All I could do was show Paisley. She rolled her eyes, funny coming from him, who forgot to invite you to his wedding rehearsal dinner. He assumed I'd be busy with my writing. I defended weakly as the phone rang again, this time my father Roy, adding urgency to the day. Ignoring it, I turned back to the invitation, pondering 15 years of anniversary toasts given to a family who seldom acknowledged me. Another text from Vanessa warned, your mother's getting upset. Sighing, I half listened, touching the empty house with my gaze. My birthday forgotten, my story overlooked. Mom, Paisley said, squeezing my hand again. You don't have to do this. Suddenly, something clicked within me, a long-forgotten resolve awakening. You're right, I admitted slowly. Maybe I don't. I picked up the invitation again, idly running a finger over my mother's flawless script. A new kind of story forming in my mind. At last, the decision was made. How about that birthday dinner? I proposed to Paisley. She grinned wider than I'd seen in a long time, nodding eagerly. As we prepared to head out, a final call attempted to intrude on our evening. My mother, insistent as always. Letting it go to voicemail felt liberating, her commanding words echoing into silence. The next morning, returning to my home office, I found a leather-bound album on my desk, a traditional passive-aggressive gesture from my mother. 49 years of expertly curated celebrations, and not a single acknowledgement of me amongst them all. iPhone buzzed, my mother's voice sharply reprimanding. You missed last night's meeting. I was celebrating my birthday, I replied, keeping my voice even while flipping through the album's chronicled moments. After sadly admitting the oversight again to herself, my mother ignored my pointed underline of self-prioritization and directed the conversation back to the anniversary. Across the images within the album, not a single frame stood as a testament to my presence, always obscured or missing. I hung up the phone as the doorbell chimed. Vanessa appeared on my doorstep, growing tense under my stare. To find difficult, I countered at her urging to make peace. Reminded of the pneumonia-marred speech 7 anniversaries past, I held my ground. I collapsed right afterward, yet somehow that speech highlighted the evening. As Marlowe texted with urgency, I resisted a bitter laugh. In all these photos, there's none of my birthday celebrated. Not one. Finally comprehending, Paisley stood beside me with understanding beyond obligation. Did you know? I mentioned. Paisley found my mother's birthday last year. Every family birthday found its place on the calendar except mine. I shut the album with resolve. Even my daughter's birthday was noted, but not mine. Vanessa reached for my hand, but I withdrew. Your mother means well. She's just your mom, she offered. I nodded, distant. Yes, and I'm just her daughter. I moved to my desk and lifted my laptop. Would you like to see what I've been working on? Vanessa's interest piqued. Your new book. Mom mentioned you were writing another memoir. I opened the document and angled the screen towards her. Her eyes widened at the title. The Art of Invisibility. A Daughter's Guide to Being Forgotten. Gabriella, you can't what? Tell the truth? Her face turned pale. This will devastate them. I shrugged. The anniversary will proceed as planned. I just won't be giving the usual speech. What will you say instead? She looked perplexed. Closing my laptop, I replied nothing. I won't be there. You have to be. It's tradition, Anessa insisted, agitated. What will people think? They probably won't even notice. I'm usually background noise. Anessa grabbed her purse, heading out. I'll have to tell your mother, she declared. I responded quietly, go ahead. She likely will remember this conversation anyway. After she left, I rifled through the photo album and discovered a handwritten note tucked behind the last picture from my mother. Darling, use these memories to craft something special for this celebration. Make us proud. I phone buzzed with a message from Paisley. Just ran into Aunt Vanessa. She seemed upset. You alright, Mom? I typed back, never better. Want to help me draft a different kind of anniversary speech? Her reply was swift. On my way with coffee and determination. I set the album in the bottom drawer, noting the years I spent crafting beautiful lies about our perfect family. This year I vowed to tell an authentic chronicle, the one that exposes how it feels to be perpetually forgotten. Just then, the sound of sharp heels tapping echoed through my home. It was Marlo, appearing impeccably put together as ever. I hadn't seen her in 3 years. Don't you knock any more? I teased, quickly saving my work. Darling, we need to address this little tantrum you're throwing, she reprimanded from my doorway, looking unchanged from the day she moved to London, cool and collected. Tantrum? I continued my typing. Anessa told me you're planning to skip the anniversary, she stated, situating herself at the edge of my desk. And this so-called exposé you're penning? It's a memoir, Marlo. Much like the other 3. I've published those other families, find my writing quite illuminating. She lifted a framed picture of Paisley from my desk. But not ours. I stopped. Please put that down. She placed it back with overstated caution, reproaching mothers beside herself. She's redoing the entire seating arrangement. I offered her an unbothered look. Heartbreaking. Don't be petty, Gabriella. It doesn't suit you, Marlo chided, edging closer, intent clear. What do you want? Or acknowledgement? A standout mention in the toast? We could arrange. An email notification briefly distracted, compelling me to read aloud. Dear Miss Hicks, we're excited about your memoir, The Art of Invisibility. Your profound take on family dynamics and emotional neglect resonates. Marlo's composure stiffened. You've already submitted it 2 weeks ago. It releases next month. She stood, a sliver of apprehension present. Next month? That's the same time as, yes, the anniversary. Easy to forget. Her veneer cracked. Your problem is, Gabriella, you're overly sensitive. You've always been. Remember your tears when I received a car at 16 and you a diary? The diary was belated by 3 months and was a gift from Mom's book club, as I recall. Sensitive, she scoffed. Some remain destined for the background, Gabriella. Acceptance would suit you. Just then, the front door creaked open. Mom, I brought Loon. Paisley's familiar voice resonated. Marlo's eyes narrowed on my daughter's companion. Ah, your partner in crime has arrived. Paisley appeared, arms full of takeout. Her step hesitated, seeing Marlo. Aunt Marlo, you're here. Hello. We were discussing your mother's latest venture, Marlo described coolly, her opus that could tear apart our family. Paisley released her calm defiance. The kind only deserving of truth brings humiliation, Aunt Marlo. Marlo's warnings came edged. Careful with loyalty, dear. Alienating us could prove regretful. Rising from my seat, I asserted, do not use veiled threats with my daughter, Marlo. Threats? I'm intervening. She whipped out her phone. I'm informing Mom. We've had enough. Go on, I acquiesced. Tell her I'm a challenge. Do, affected. It'll be in the book. Marlo's thumb hovered, stopped. What does the book reveal? Everything. I opened the document once more. Forgot birthdays. Dismissed accomplishments. The Christmas in Paris minus my ticket. Photographs I somehow always evade. These are family confessions, Gabriella. She deflected. Not anymore. Spinning it toward her, I offered care for Chapter 7, where Mom publicly relegated my first book as a hobby at that anniversary speech. Her phone buzzed. Mom, no doubt. Ignoring her, facade darkened. Stop this. Indeed, she should, Paisley encouraged. You're inviting disaster, Marlo claimed. Upon her departure, Paisley faced me. Handling it? I affirmed, my manuscript reaching a conclusion. Just composing the epilogue. Her curiosity piqued. What's it articulate? At times, I dictated. Removing one's own invisibility becomes the highest form of self-acceptance. Often, voicing your reality can be the toughest narrative, and at others, choosing silence ensues the loudest impact. Her hand squeezed my shoulder. Fitting. Notifications popped across my screen. Mother, Marlo claims you're challenging. Father, don't stress Mom. Pray. Halt whatever it is. Powering off, I addressed Paisley, ready to assist with the dedication. She beamed to the family, whose oblivion taught visibility's criticality. Perfect, applauding, I transcribed. A dinner preceding the anniversary was Mom's initiative, close-knit family, to resolve the apparent friction. I dared defying judgment. Only the familiar family dining table now met my idle prodding as everyone indulged the facade of normalcy. More wine, Gabriella? Mother queried with polished hesitance. Barely a sip, she remarked. I'm well, thank you, appearing exhausted. Writing depletes, does it not? Trey cleared his throat. And the book? Prospering? Silence descended. Utensils abandoned sound altogether. Essentially finished, I returned, holding his gaze. Final edits are done. Excellent news. Mother's artificial brightness exaggerated. Previews for us? Marlowe interrupted sharply, giving me a stern look. I don't think it's suitable, Mother. While looking up from his plate, Father spoke for the first time. Why shouldn't it be? Gabriella's books are always something we pride ourselves on. I couldn't hold back, are they? When was the last time you read one? Silence ensued. Always the peacemaker. Vanessa chimed in. I adored your last book, Gabriella, the one about the immigrant family in Detroit. Thank you, Vanessa. Did you appreciate the part concerning the mother who actually remembered her daughter's birthday? Mother froze. Her wine glass paused midair. Really, Gabriella? Must you? Must I what? Write about functional families? Sorry if that offends you. Trey snapped. That's enough. We're here to discuss the anniversary celebration, not your writing career. Writing career funds half of these celebrations, I reminded him. Or did you forget that too? Here we go, Marlowe sighed. The martyr act again. Paisley, silent until now, slammed her hand on the table. Stop it, all of you. You act superior while treating my mother like she's nothing. Vanessa tried to console Paisley. Save it, Aunt Vanessa. Paisley stood up. I've watched all of you take from her. Expect her to show up, give speeches, write checks, play her role. But when did anyone show up for her? Mother said firmly. We're her family. Everything we do is for family. I laughed harshly, surprised even myself. Family? Last week was my birthday again. Where were you all? Mother waved dismissively. Oh, darling, you know how busy things get with anniversary planning. Marlowe chimed in. I was in London for business, while Trey mumbled. Was it really last week? I pushed my plate away. This is why I'm not giving a speech this year. Mother's face darkened. You most certainly are. It's tradition. Like forgetting my birthday. Is a tradition? For God's sake, Trey exploded. It's just a birthday. Stop being so dramatic. I stood slowly. You want to see dramatic? Check your email. I sent you all an advance copy of my memoir an hour ago. As they reached for their phones, I watched their faces as they read the synopsis, watching the color drain from their cheeks. Mother's hand trembled as she read aloud. The Art of Invisibility explores emotional neglect through one daughter's journey in a family mastering the art of forgetting. Trey whispered, you can't publish this. Already done. Releases for your anniversary. Funny how I remembered that perfectly. This will ruin us, Marlowe hissed. Our reputation? Paisley interjected. What about her heart and all the years of belittling her? Mother stood abruptly, chair scraping the floor. I will not be painted as a monster in your little book. You painted that image yourself, I replied quietly. I'm just holding up the mirror. Roy, Mother turned to Father. Say something. Father looked at me, then back to his plate. Pass the potatoes, please. Astonished, I whispered, unbelievable, grabbing my purse. Come on, Paisley, we're leaving. Vanessa called after us. Gabriella, please, we can mend this. At the door, I said. That's the thing, Vanessa. It was never broken. This is exactly how everyone wanted it, everyone but me. As Paisley and I walked to the car, I heard Mother's voice through the dining room window saying, we'll need to redo the seating chart, and someone else must give the anniversary toast. Some things never change, but this time it was my choice not to witness it. The next morning after the disastrous dinner, my publisher called, and I put her on speaker so Paisley, making coffee, could listen. Gabriella, early reviews are amazing, Sarah exclaimed. It's been called raw and unflinching, a masterpiece on family dysfunction. We're releasing it 2 days earlier. 2 days before the anniversary? Paisley queried, passing me a mug. Exactly, Sarah confirmed. The timing is perfect, with major morning shows interested in interviews. iPhone buzzed. Marlowe again. I ignored it. How are you holding up? Sarah asked. I'm interrupted by pounding on the door. Gabriella, open this door right now. Mother's voice rang out. I'll call you back, Sarah. I hung up as Paisley answered the door. Mother burst in, tablet in hand. Have you seen these reviews? What people are saying? Good morning to you too, Mother. Don't take that tone with me. She thrust the tablet at me. Look. a searing criticism of family dynamics, a mother's cruelty laid bare. Do you know what this will do to us? Make you notice me finally? Bitterness upon her face, she laughed. All we did was help you succeed. Who funded your education? Who introduced you to publishers? Who forgot I existed? Unless they needed something, I interjected. Who made me feel unimportant and unworthy? Frustrated mother implored Paisley. Talk sense into your mother. Paisley folded her arms. I helped her write the book. Mother sank onto my couch, pressing her temples. This isn't happening. The anniversary is in 2 weeks, and everyone will be there. The mayor, the governor's wife, all our friends. Perfect audience for a book launch, muttered Paisley. iPhone rang Trey this time, but Mother seized it, putting it on speaker. Gabriella, morning shows want all of us for interviews, Trey stated. It's being called a family reckoning. Absolutely not, Mother snapped. Mother? Trey was surprised. Are you at Gabriella's? Tempting to prevent our family's public dismantling, yes. I took my phone back. No interviews, Trey. The book speaks for itself. Then speak to me now, Mother demanded. What do you want? Lonnie, a bigger part in the anniversary. Your own celebration? I want you to see what you did, what all of you did. I stood firm. What we did. She stood, smoothing her skirt. We gave you everything. Except love, Paisley said softly. Except basic kindness. Mother's phone chimed again, her face losing color. Your father got a call from the country club. They want to delay our anniversary reception until this family issue resolves. I couldn't suppress my smile, but it's tradition, Mother. You can't break tradition, she accused. You're enjoying this. You want to hurt us. No, Mother. I want you to feel what I felt, all the forgotten birthdays, the ignored achievements, celebrations of your love obscured mine. I want you to understand. By humiliating us publicly, she demanded. By revealing the truth publicly. Her phone chimed again. Marlowe's flight is delayed. The London papers want excerpts from your book. International coverage. Paisley whistled. Impressive, Mom. Mother fell back onto the couch. What else could you want me to say? That we were terrible parents, that we failed you? The request was for her to recognize my presence. I see you now, she murmured. I understand what you are capable of, but that's not what I meant. She rose again, gathering her belongings. You've certainly driven your point home. I hope this book gives you whatever closure you seek, but don't expect to be welcome back after this. Back where, Mother? I was never really there from the start. At the doorway, she hesitated. I always thought your sensitivity was a vulnerability, and now I see it your most dangerous weapon. After she left, Paisley embraced me. Are you all right? iPhone buzzed with a message from Sarah. Good morning, America wants you tomorrow. Are you ready to share your narrative with the world? I glanced at Paisley and then at the text. You know, I think I am finally ready. Good, Paisley smiled. Because Grandma is right about one thing, your sensitivity isn't a weakness. It's your superpower. I picked up my phone to reply to Sarah, feeling lighter than I had in years. It was time for the unseen daughter to finally be recognized, and this time everyone would notice. The anniversary day arrived amid a flood of text messages and missed calls. I sat quietly in my study, observing the chaos through my phone screen while Paisley monitored social media. Your Good Morning America interview hit over 1 million views, she announced, and the art of invisibility is trending. The phone buzzed again. Marlowe, the caterers are threatening to cancel. Mother's having a meltdown. Where are you? I set my phone aside, lifting a carefully wrapped parcel on my desk. Inside was a single copy of my memoir, elegantly bound in black leather with gold lettering. Is it time? Paisley asked, watching as I traced the cover. Almost, I responded, adding the final handwritten note to the dedication page. The doorbell rang, and we both knew who it would be. I'll answer, Paisley offered, but I stopped her. No, let me. Marlowe stood there, mascara smeared, hair tousled, a sight I had never seen. You need to come with me right now. Hello to you too. This isn't funny, Gabriella, she insisted. The governor's wife just cancelled. The local news is camped outside our parents' house. Father's locked in his study, and Mother... She paused to catch her breath. Mother's crying. That makes 2 of us. Please, Marlowe's voice broke. Just come fix this. Fix what? Exactly. The truth? She seized my arm. You know what it's like in that house right now. Everyone's arriving, asking questions, whispering about your book. Mother can hardly maintain her composure. Frey's wife is managing the guests, but what? The perfect family image is shattering. Is that what you wanted, to break us? I held up the wrapped book. No, I wanted to wake us up. Marlowe eyed the package. What's that? My anniversary gift, make sure it lands on the gift table. You're not coming? I'll be there, just not when you expect. She took the package, hands trembling slightly. Mother will never forgive you for this. Perhaps not, but I'll finally be able to forgive myself. After she left, Paisley showed me her phone. Uncle Trey's wife just posted, "Family is complicated, but love should be simple. Praying for healing tonight." Anessa always loved her sayings, I remarked, checking the time. "Yeah, ready." Paisley nodded. Operation Crash. The party's a go. 2 hours later, we arrived at my parents' house. Cars lined the street, and I could see the party in full swing through the large windows. Classical music floated out into the evening air. "Look," Paisley pointed to the news van trying to remain inconspicuous at the corner. "You're creating quite a stir." We slid in through the side entrance, my old route for sneaking out as a teen. The house was packed with familiar faces, everyone trying to act normal while clearly full of curiosity. "There's your book," Paisley whispered, nodding toward the gift table where my black-bound package sat prominently. I checked my phone. One new message from Trey. "Mother's about to give the speech you were supposed to deliver. Asked chance to make things right." "Perfect timing," I murmured, stepping into the shadows of the grand staircase. Mother positioned herself at the front of the room, champagne in hand, voice slightly faltering as she started. "For 50 years our family has stood as a testament to love, loyalty, and tradition." I moved through the crowd, which parted silently as they recognized me. Mother's voice wavered as she noticed my approach. "Gabriella," she whispered, gripping her glass tighter, "you came." I picked up my package from the gift table. I wouldn't miss it. Isn't that what family does? Doze up? The room fell silent as I unwrapped the book, Mother's gaze fixed on the gold lettering, then on my face. "Would you like to hear what I inscribed in the dedication?" I spoke loudly enough for all to hear. She shook her head faintly, but I opened the book regardless. "To my mother," I read, "who taught me that being invisible doesn't mean you don't exist. It just means you must shine brighter to be seen." I placed the book in her trembling hands. "Happy anniversary, Mother. I hope you finally understand what I've been trying to show you all along." The silence in the room was tangible. Somewhere, a camera clicked, likely the society photographer capturing the moment when the perfect family's facade finally broke. But for the first time in my life, as I stood there in front of everyone, I felt anything but invisible. I felt seen and illuminated. Mother's hands quivered as she opened the book, her eyes scanning the first page. The room remained frozen, watching, waiting. Even the string quartet had paused their performance. Perhaps Father's voice sliced through the quiet as he stepped forward. "We should discuss this privately." "No," I asserted. "We've had enough privacy, enough secrets, enough pretending." Trey approached me. "Gabriella, don't what?" I faced the crowd. "Don't tell them how you all missed my college graduation because it clashed with Mother's garden party. Don't mention how Marlo told my first publisher I was just playing at being a writer." "That's not fair," Marlo protested. "I was trying to protect you from disappointment." "Protect me?" I chuckled. "By making me feel worthless?" Suddenly, Mother slammed the book shut. "Enough. This is our anniversary celebration, not your therapy session." "Actually," Paisley interjected, stepping forward, "it's both. Because guess what, Grandma? Your ideal family image is harmful to everyone, not just Mom." "What do you mean?" Anessa asked gently. "Why do you think I never bring my kids to family events?" Paisley's voice resonated across the room. "Because I don't want them learning that love is conditional, that they have to earn their place in the family by performing like trained seals." A murmur swept through the crowd. I saw the governor's wife lean to whisper to her husband. The society photographer's camera clicked furiously. "I gave you everything," Mother's voice broke. "The best schools, the finest opportunities, everything except acknowledgement," I concluded. "Everything except love." "Love?" She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a fierce whisper. "Do you consider this book love, embarrassing us in public?" "No, Mother," I replied. "This book is truth, and sometimes truth wounds more deeply than lies." Father cleared his throat. I read the advance copy. All eyes turned to him, and Mother's expression turned pale. "You what she whispered last night." She said it with such conviction that I was unable to sleep. Roy gazed at me, truly saw me, as though it was the first time in years. "Prudence is right," he admitted, "about everything." He proceeded, his voice gaining strength. "On your 16th birthday, you wore that blue dress, waiting all day for us to notice. You sat on the porch until midnight, and I saw you. I saw you and did nothing. Tears slid down my cheeks." "You saw me?" I asked. "I always saw you," he confessed, "but I didn't know how to reach out. It was simpler to follow your mother's lead, to keep up the appearances she valued, the ones I wanted too." Rose, our mother interjected. I've built this family, protected us, given us our status. Marlowe suddenly questioned her. And what are we, mother? From where I'm standing, it seems we are just well-dressed strangers related by DNA. Frey moved forward, troubled. This book, he began, mentions the Christmas when I got engaged and how it was announced at the family dinner, right after Gabriella shared her first book deal. He paused. You said, that's nice, but wait to hear Trey's news. I remember every word. His voice faltered. I never intended to overshadow you. I softly replied, none of you meant to, which makes it even worse. It was so easy, so normal to forget I was there. The room fell uncharacteristically silent. You could hear the sound of ice melting in abandoned champagne glasses. Mother stood still, clutching the book protectively to her chest. What do you want from us? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. I want you to read it, I demanded, indicating the book. Really read it. Try to understand. And maybe, just maybe, consider why your ideal daughter became a writer. Anessa inquired. Why? Because writers demand attention. Their words need to be seen, need to be heard. I gave a sad smile. I had to write to become visible. Mother opened the book again, this time to the final page, her lips moving silently as she took in the last words. Out loud, she read with a trembling voice. The art of invisibility taught me the most crucial lesson of all, to sometimes disappear completely before anyone realizes you were there. She looked up at me, and for the first time I saw something crack in her perfect facade, a tear rolling down her cheek, smudging her flawless makeup. I notice you now, she whispered. I quietly replied, that's why I wrote the book. The string quartet resumed its gentle, melancholic melody, perfectly encapsulating the mood as guests awkwardly reverted to their conversations. I watched my mother settle into a chair, open the book, and begin to read. Sometimes the loudest voices speak in absolute silence. The morning sun bathed my office as I sifted through the overflowing mail on my desk. Fan letters, interview requests, and speaking invitations had continually arrived since the book's release. iPhone buzz, another message from my mother. Are you free for tea this afternoon? Such invites had become frequent since the anniversary celebration, each feeling like a small step towards something genuine. I texted back, 3 p.m. Perfect. I smiled, recalling how she showed up at my door the morning after the event, eyes red from a night of reading. She handed me a stack of childhood drawings she'd secretly kept, each dated and cherished, proving she'd seen me all along, even if she hadn't known how to express it. The doorbell rang. Paisley entered carrying newspapers. You're still making headlines, Mom, she announced. Good ones or bad ones? Both. The society pages are scandalized, but literary critics are calling you brave. She laid the papers across my desk. Oh, and Marlowe's interview just published. I picked up the magazine with Marlowe on the cover. The headline read, Family Secrets, a Sister's Response to the Art of Invisibility. Have you read it? I queried. You should, Paisley suggested, pointing to a highlighted quote. My sister's book forced me to acknowledge my role in our family's dysfunction. It's easy to disregard someone's pain when you're part of the system causing it. iPhone buzzed this time. Trey had sent a message. Having dinner with Vanessa's family tonight. First time in years. Your book made me realize what we've been missing. The front door opened and Father's voice called out, Hello, anyone home? He entered my office, looking uncomfortable but determined, placing a small box on my desk. I brought something for you, he said softly, revealing a delicate silver bracelet. I bought this for your 16th birthday, he confessed, but never found the courage to give it to you. Pretending I'd forgotten seemed easier, like everyone else. Why now? I asked. Because I'm weary of pretending, he admitted, his throat catching. Your book showed me what bravery truly looks like. Paisley held my hand as I fastened the bracelet around my wrist. iPhone lit up with a message from Vanessa. Book club chose your memoir for next month. Would you consider joining us? Frey wants to come too. Another message appeared from Marlowe. London book tour next month. Stay with me. We have 3 decades of conversations to catch up on. Look at that, Paisley grinned. The invisible woman becomes impossible to ignore. The doorbell rang again. Mother was early for tea, holding a gift bag and appearing nervous. I couldn't wait, she declared, entering my office. I need to show you something. She pulled out a leather-bound calendar. I'm rewriting history, she announced, opening it to show dates marked with her neat handwriting. Every birthday, every achievement, every moment I should have felt celebrated but didn't. I'm filling them in one by one. Mother, I began, sensing her hurried continuation. I know it doesn't fix the past, but maybe it can help us build a better future where we truly see each other. Father picked up one of the newspapers, reading aloud and exposing her family's flaws. Author Gabriella provides a mirror for us all to examine our blind spots. Seems they got that right, Paisley commented. Grandma, did you know my friend's mom started family therapy after reading your book? Mother smiled slightly. Even the governor's wife mentioned it at her garden party, Mother noted. Apparently, we begun quite a revolution in our social circle. Talking about social circles, I queried, what about the country club's anniversary reception? Cancelled, Mother replied. I decided some traditions aren't worth preserving. She reopened the calendar, pointing to today's date. Instead, she proposed, I thought we might start a new tradition, family tea every Wednesday, if you'll have us. I glanced around my office at Father fidgeting with his tie, at Paisley brimming with pride, at Mother clutching her calendar of second chances. My phone kept buzzing with messages from Marlo, Trey, Vanessa, all part of this imperfect, evolving family constellation. I'll get the cups, I stated, standing up. Hastily, help me with the tea. As we moved to the kitchen, Mother told Father, consider these reader letters. Our daughter accomplished something remarkable. Our daughter, he quietly echoed. Yes, she did. I caught my reflection in the kitchen window, no longer invisible, not forgotten, but seen entirely and completely for who I am. And that, more than any book deal or headline, feels like the sweetest success of all.